Hello, adventurer. My name is Cobb Junson. I am the current president of the Explorers Guild that you have just been inducted into, you lucky dog, you. So, what does that mean for you? Well, that's unimportant and for later. But right now, I'm writing this document for you to accompany the map you've been given. After all, if you're going to start exploring parts unknown, you've got to learn about all those parts we do know about. So, without further ado, we'll get right into it. The first place we'll talk about is a small island kingdom of Hoxneid, set in between the Ovine Seas with the Rapacic Ocean to its south. The island is mainly a series of grassy and rainy highlands in its interior where livestock is raised, while the shores are littered with fjords. The capital city, Saal, is situated in the back of the largest fjord, Sylfjord. The climate is cold and damp, and many consider it a rather bleak place to live. However, the people there are hardy as a result and often produce some of the strongest barbarians the world has ever known, including the great Stolfnin the Red himself, which legends say he carved a fjord in himself in just a month. It's just a legend, but those who saw him aren't so sure. The second place we'll be talking about is Voscato, the largest continent on Swalaton, and is bisected into north, south, and middle Voscato by the Canakin Lake and River, as well as the Cicero River. First, we'll talk about North Voscato. North Voscato is a long landmass that juts into the northern reaches of Swalaton and borders the eastern Ovine Sea and the Sea of the Horn. The other major feature is the Canakin system, which includes a lake, river, and bay, and before you ask, no one knows which was named first. North Voscato is quite similar to Hoxne in two major aspects, its climate and its people. The north is more mountainous than Hoxne, but its weather is just as cold and its people just as warm. They hold yearly contests of strength and stamina to crown one strong man the champion of the northern wastes. I'm told it's quite an enjoyable festival. The two major cities in the north are Messenia and Riss. Messenia is a technological city exhibited by the Great Aqueduct, which scales the local mountains to reach Lake Canakin to supply fresh water to the city. Its sister city. I was saying that right. What? The two major cities in the north are Messenia and Riss. Messenia is a technological city exhibited by the Great Aqueduct, which scales the local mountains to reach Lake Canakin to supply fresh water to the city. Its sister city across the Carbodian Strait is Calcero. Riss is the city nestled in what most call the Horn. For a good portion of the year, Riss is locked in the northern ice sheet, but when the ice recedes, the town bursts into life and becomes a hustling, bustling stop for only the toughest ship that braves the Horn storms. Add the sailors and the North Viscontin people, and you've got a hell of a time. We'll skip over Middle Viscato for the time being and head down to Southern Viscato. Southern Viscato is a forest, simply named the Great Viscontin Forest, the likes of which will probably never be seen again. It starts about 50 miles south of the last Cicero River merge and doesn't stop until the southern ice sheet makes it stop. It starts out as just a hilly temperate forest of conifer and broadleaf trees, but soon the pines and spruce take hold and grow monstrous. Their tales of trees growing taller than the largest building and the longest serpent put together. It's a place of mystery and ancient magic, only disturbed by the Cicero River and the lone city of Strategro. A place surrounded by the elements, it was established as a permanent establishment by the Explorers Guild, soon after we became more public. It's a growing city, mainly as a launching point for expeditions into the Great Viscontin Forest, not only for us, but for those naturey and magic types as well, as stories have trickled out of ancient druidic monuments and secret libraries of vast knowledge frozen shut beneath the permafrost and obscured by the dense trees. But so many more go in than come out. Alright, well, now it's time for the big one, Middle Viscato, squeezed in on the east and west by the Sea of Afframent and the Rapacic Ocean, respectively. Middle Viscato has everyone and everything, and the people know it, to everyone else's annoyance. It's a rather flat place, made of an ocean of grassland throughout, called the Viscontin Plain. Its two rivers, the Cicero to the south and the Genalta to the northeast, create a vast floodplain that brings nutrients to the miles of farmland. The two rivers drain into its greatest feature, the Moon Maw Sea, a large inland body of ocean connected to the Rapacic by the Strait of Kungur. At its end is the capital city of Voscato, Moon Maw City, situated in and around the Cicero Bay, fed by the Cicero River. It's the largest city in the world, and its citizens don't let you forget it. It's a city built off its intellect and its trade. The other major city in Middle Voscato is Genalta on the Genalta River. It's mainly known for its farm exports, as the runoff from the nearby Astolat mountain range and the Astolat Peninsula seeds their lands with all the nutrients their crops could ever need. Some people call them simple, but they obviously haven't eaten there, as anyone who has soon realizes that those people are culinary geniuses. That's it for Vosgato. Now we're moving on to Anahuisa. Anahuisa is a large island across the Sea of Afremen from Middle Vosgato and is a dense jungle of vibrant green with the Haslak River rising through its low mountains. The rainforest hosts a variety of creatures, both magical and not. Anahuisa was one of the last places to be colonized as a result of these factors. The capital city, Bufaya, is where I am right now. Laid on the Haslak River, it was established as the main location for the Explorers Guild over 250 years ago. We chose this location for its centrality in the world and the promise of the unknown Anahuisa jungle. The other city on Anahuisa is Blancan, nestled in a brackish mangrove swamp on the Fetton Pass. The city is built on floating rafts of bondwood trees that make up the jungle and harvest cane sugar and papyrus. Next up is the nearby island of Fet. Fet is an oddly shaped island, almost cradling the nearby island of Anahuisa. Its U-shape also creates the Fetton Sea. The island itself is mainly volcanic craggy mountains created from an ancient violent collision with Anahuisa and Vosgato. Due to its harsh rocky nature, dwarves have taken up hold on the island and used the geological upheaval to mine metals and minerals normally held deep within the earth. The capital city, Novica, is built in the deep caldera of the extinct long-gone volcano, and is a heart for items and incredible craftsmanship of all kind. One of the other major cities is Jesselak, sister city to Janalta on the western edge of the island. While normally it would be cold year-round, one of the last active volcanoes on the island, Sul-Ra, warms the area and allows for easy smelting and year-round farming with the nutrient-rich volcanic earth. The last major city is Miniferum, sister city to Blancan on the northern side of the island. It's centered around a structure called the Vault. Built by dwarves into the nearby sleeping Tunvut volcano, it is a treasure trove of rare knowledge, a library, and a museum. It is filled with rare and valuable books and items, all secured within the reinforced obsidian walls. Dwarven security systems can be activated at any side of attempted theft, and the structure is said to be able to withstand a meteor impact and even the potential reawakening of the volcano itself. Up next is Nantala. Nantala is the second largest continent on Swalaton. Its largest features include the Nantalan Peninsula, the Fira Mountains, and the Alfred Desert. It, like Vosgato, is divided into multiple parts, but only two, West and East Nantala. Western Nantala is a rough place, geographically speaking. The Nantalan Peninsula is mainly broadleaf forest, but at its center is the beginning of the Fira Mountains, the largest mountain range on Swalaton. It holds the largest mountains, including the largest on Swalaton, Mammoth Keep, said to contain the sleeping Shaper Ganthor himself. To their south is the Struman Forest, a natural buffer between the mountains and the desert south of that. Running down from the high glacier fields is the start of two rivers, the Glacial River and the Shan River. The Shan runs into eastern Nantala, but the Glacial runs into the Glacial Bay on the east side of the isthmus connecting the peninsula to the main body of the continent. On the inner shore of this bay, atop the nearby cliffs, is the city of Matuma. The city is built as a religious space, as this is said to be the place of the last confrontation between the Shapers Ganthor and Bukrug, and has many temples erected to the 5 original sparks. The other major city in western Nantala is close by on the end of the peninsula. It's called Calcero. Calcero is sister cities of Messinia, and is an ancient city supposedly built by dragons. A good deal of debate has gone into this, and it's still uncertain, but the people there confidently brag about its truth. Eastern Nantala is just as wild a place as the western half. It's dominated by one major feature, the Alfred Desert. Covering the entire bottom half of the region is a burning wasteland of sand dunes hundreds of feet tall. Somewhere in its center is a place called the Great Pit, a large depression where supposedly a piece of the gods resides. Those that decide to travel into the desert must make an incredible amount of preparation, and even then, many return early, or not at all. North of the desert is the Phisai Prairie, a wide open and bland grassland that cools and turns into a taiga as it stretches north. East of both of these, wedged between them, is the Hathu Craglands, a place of sagebrush and sandstone canyons. The area is sparse in regards to resources, but dense in regards to bandits. At the center point where all the biomes converge and the Shan River runs through is the capital of Nantala, Necroft. Necroft is a trade hub, rivaled only by Moonmaw City, as it is the greatest point on the harsh continent, exhibited by its great walls, the greatest of which, can you see how great it is, ceases the advance of the desert sands. downriver from Necroft is the other city in eastern Nontala, the city of Shan. Planted firmly on the largest island in the Shan Delta, it uses the nutrient-rich silt to bolster a bountiful farming community. The food they provide is then mainly brought upriver upon a booming ferry business and sold to vendors in Necroft. The last continent, Tilnan, is a large archipelago south of Nontala below the Shan Delta. It's a veritable tropical paradise with vibrant jungles, beautiful beaches, and strangely eroded rock features. Legends say it was once whole, a single island, but it splintered after a release of magic that now pervades throughout. As a result, the place is alive with places of study for the arcane arts. There are 4 main cities strewn throughout the islands, the first of which is Brueris on the western side. Placed on a narrow isthmus, the city rests on either side of a canal, a large rock bridge over the canal, allowing even large ships to pass under it. The city attracts druids, as the nearby varying terrain provides easy access for training and attunement to nature. The second city is Aquitiga on the northernmost island. The island is low and flat, making it prone to flooding by the storms, but the people have made do using magic and technology to create a city partially submerged on the shore. The city attracts magical crafters and enchanters seeking knowledge and advice on blurring the line between matter and magic. The third city is Blighton on the eastern edge of the largest island and is the last stop before the Rapacic Ocean. The city is squished into a small harbor that lessens the pummeling waves of the Rapacic. Slammed by storms and besieged by creatures from the jungle hill, it still stands, leading many to believe some primal being watches over. As a result, the city attracts sorcerers and summoners who try and connect with whatever power may watch over them. The last city is the capital, at the heart of the islands, the city of Talok. Talok is a city of many fantastical buildings, but none of which quite match up to the other size and beauty of the Grand Haven, a massive glass and steel structure of curves that comes to a single shining point. The last city is the capital at the heart of the islands, the city of Talok. Talok is a city of many fantastical buildings, but none of which quite match up to the other size and beauty of the Grand Haven, a massive glass and steel structure of curves that comes to a single shining point. Inside is the largest collection of knowledge, magical and not. Rivaled only by the vault, it supposedly contains a copy of everything and anything ever written, should you be able to find it. There are rumors that some spend years looking for a single rare tome, and that some even perish inside, too driven to find what they seek to abandon their search. Rumors they may be, but many find there is something about the collection they just can't quite place. Well, the world is vast, and this is only a fraction of the people and places worthy of mention upon it. But this is what you need to know. There's pirates to punch and sunsets to sail into. So, shall we?